What happens when one of the most dominant figures in professional wrestling steps into a completely different arena, one where the stakes are life, death, and the survival of an entire community? Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, the head of the table, known for his commanding presence in the ring, finds himself in the middle of a crisis far beyond the scripted drama of WWE. This time, it's real. The LA wildfires are raging, and as the world watches the devastation unfold on live TV, Roman notices something no one else does. Something that could change everything. It starts with a simple interview. Roman is on a late-night talk show, promoting his upcoming match at WrestleMania. The host, a charismatic comedian known for his quick wit, shifts the conversation to the wildfires. "Roman, you're a larger-than-life figure. What do you think about what's happening in LA right now? It's heartbreaking, isn't it?" The camera zooms in on Roman's face, his usual confident smirk replaced by a furrowed brow. He leans forward, his voice low but urgent. "You know, I've been watching the coverage like everyone else. But there's something that doesn't add up." The audience leans in, the host raises an eyebrow, and the room falls silent. Roman continues, "I've seen fires before. I've seen destruction. But this feels orchestrated." The words hang in the air, heavy and unsettling. The host chuckles nervously, trying to lighten the mood, but Roman doesn't budge. "I'm serious. Look at the patterns. The way the fires are spreading. It's not natural. Someone's behind this." Cut to the next morning. Roman's comments have gone viral. Social media is ablaze, not just with the fires, but with speculation. Conspiracy theories are flying, and Roman is at the center of it all. But he's not backing down. In fact, he's doubling down. He calls a press conference, standing in front of a crowd of reporters, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "I'm not a fire expert. I'm not a scientist. But I know when something doesn't feel right. And this doesn't feel right. We need answers. We need to know who's responsible for this devastation." As the days go by, Roman becomes an unlikely hero. He uses his platform, his influence, to push for an investigation. He meets with firefighters, survivors, and experts, piecing together the puzzle. And then, it happens. A whistleblower comes forward, a former employee of a powerful corporation with ties to the area. They reveal shocking details, evidence of arson, of deliberate acts meant to clear land for development. The corporation had been planning this for years, waiting for the right moment to strike. Roman doesn't stop there. He takes the fight to the next level, using his celebrity to shine a light on the corruption. He organizes relief efforts, raises millions for the victims, and even confronts the CEO of the corporation on live TV. The confrontation is intense, raw, and unscripted. "You think you can just burn down people's lives for profit?" Roman shouts, his voice trembling with anger. "You think you can get away with this? Not on my watch." In the end, justice is served. The corporation is exposed, its leaders arrested, and the survivors begin to rebuild. Roman, once a larger-than-life character in a world of scripted drama, becomes a real-life hero. But it's not just about him. It's about the people, the firefighters who risked their lives, the families who lost everything, the community that came together in the face of unimaginable tragedy. As the cameras stop rolling and the headlines fade, Roman reflects on what he's learned. "This wasn't about me," he says in a quiet moment. "This was about them, about us, about standing up when something's wrong and fighting for what's right. That's what being the tribal chief is really about." And with that, Roman Reigns, the head of the table, walks away, not just a champion in the ring, but a champion for the people. The wildfires may have burned through LA, but they also ignited a fire in Roman, one that will never be extinguished. The aftermath of the wildfire scandal leaves Roman Reigns in a place he never expected, exhausted but fulfilled. The world sees him differently now. He's no longer just the Tribal Chief of WWE. He's a symbol of resilience, a man who used his voice to fight for those who couldn't. But as the dust settles, Roman can't shake the feeling that this fight isn't over. There's more to uncover, more people to help. And then, it happens again. This time, it's not wildfires. It's water. A small town in the Midwest is hit by a catastrophic flood, and the media coverage is eerily similar. Homes destroyed, lives uprooted, and yet, the narrative feels off. Roman watches the news from his home, his jaw tightening as he sees the same patterns, the same red flags. Not again, he mutters to himself. This can't be a coincidence. Without hesitation, Roman packs a bag and heads to the town. He doesn't call ahead, doesn't announce his arrival. He just shows up, ready to help, ready to listen. The townspeople are stunned when they see him. Roman Reigns? "What are you doing here?" a young woman asks, her voice trembling. Roman kneels to her level, his eyes soft but determined. "I'm here because I think something's not right. And if I can help, I will." As Roman digs deeper, he uncovers a web of corruption that stretches far beyond the town. The flood wasn't just a natural disaster. It was the result of neglected infrastructure, corporate greed, and government negligence. The town's levees had been poorly maintained for years, all while a powerful construction company lobbied to keep it that way. They wanted the town to fail, to force people out so they could buy up the land for pennies on the dollar. Roman's blood boils as he pieces it together. He confronts the mayor, a man who's been in office for decades, known for his charm but suspected of shady dealings. "You knew," Roman says, his voice low but seething. "You knew those levies wouldn't hold. And you did nothing." The mayor stammers, trying to deflect, but Roman isn't having it. "People lost everything because of you. How do you sleep at night?" The confrontation goes viral, and once again, Roman finds himself at the center of a storm. But this time, it's different. The town rallies behind him, inspired by his courage and determination. They organize protests, demand accountability, and refuse to back down. Roman stands with them, his presence a beacon of hope. "This isn't just about one town," he tells the crowd. "This is about every community that's been ignored, every voice that's been silenced. We're not going to let them get away with this." The pressure mounts, and eventually, the truth comes out. The construction company is exposed, the mayor resigns in disgrace, and the town begins to rebuild, this time with proper support and oversight. Roman stays until the end, helping to clear debris, handing out supplies, and listening to the stories of those who've lost so much. He's not just a celebrity lending his name to a cause. He's one of them, a fighter who refuses to give up. As he prepares to leave, a young boy approaches him, clutching a piece of paper. "Mr. Reigns, I drew this for you," the boy says shyly. Roman takes the drawing, a simple but powerful image of a man standing tall, holding back a flood with his bare hands. Roman smiles, his eyes glistening. "Thank you, buddy. This means more to me than you know." On the flight home, Roman stares out the window, the boy's drawing in his hands. He thinks about the wildfires, the flood, and all the people he's met along the way. He's not the same man he was before all of this. The tribal chief, the head of the table, those titles mean something different now. They're not just about dominance or power. They're about responsibility, about using his platform to make a difference. But as the plane touches down, Roman knows this isn't the end. There are more battles to fight, more people to help. And he's ready. Because that's what a true champion does. They never stop fighting, no matter how hard the odds. And Roman Reigns? He's just getting started. The flood fight leaves Roman Reigns with a sense of purpose he's never felt before. He's no longer just a wrestler, no longer just a character on TV. He's a man who's seen the cracks in the system and decided to do something about them. But as he returns to his normal life, training, traveling, performing, he can't shake the feeling that there's more to do. And then, his phone rings. It's a call from an old friend, someone he hasn't spoken to in years. "Roman, it's me, Jake. Listen, I know you've been through a lot lately, but I need your help. It's about my sister, Mia. She's missing." Roman's heart skips a beat. Mia. The same Mia who used to cheer him on at every match, who always had a smile and a kind word for everyone. "What do you mean, missing?" Roman asks, his voice tight with worry. Jake explains that Mia, a journalist, had been investigating a series of mysterious disappearances in a small coastal town. She was close to uncovering something big, and then she vanished. No calls, no texts, nothing. The local police aren't taking it seriously, and Jake doesn't know where else to turn. "Roman, I wouldn't ask if it wasn't important. But Mia, she's family. And I know if anyone can find her, it's you." Roman doesn't hesitate. He packs his bags, tells his team he's taking a break, and heads to the coastal town. The moment he arrives, he can feel the tension in the air. The town is picturesque on the surface. Quaint shops, friendly locals, the sound of waves crashing against the shore, but there's an undercurrent of fear. People avoid eye contact. Conversations stop when he walks by, and the few who do talk to him warn him to leave. This town. It's not what it seems, an elderly woman whispers to him at a diner. "If you know what's good for you, you'll turn around and go home." But Roman isn't the type to back down. He starts digging, asking questions, piecing together what Mia was working on. He learns about the disappearances. Young women, all of them, gone without a trace. The police claim they ran away, but the families know better. Mia had been looking into a local fishing company, one with ties to powerful people in the town. She believed they were involved in something dark, something that went far beyond illegal fishing practices. Roman's investigation leads him to the docks late one night. The air is thick with the smell of salt and decay, and the only sound is the creaking of boats against the pier. He's about to turn back when he hears a faint cry. His heart races as he follows the sound, his instincts screaming that this is it. He finds a locked storage container, the cries coming from inside. With a grunt, he pries the door open, and there she is, Mia, bruised and terrified but alive. "Roman," she whispers, her voice trembling. "How did you?" He doesn't answer, just pulls her into a tight hug. "We're getting you out of here," he says firmly. But as they turn to leave, they're surrounded. Men in dark clothes, their faces hidden, block their path. Roman steps in front of Mia, his fists clenched. "You don't want to do this," he growls. But they don't listen. What follows is a brutal fight, Roman using every ounce of his strength to protect Mia. He takes hits, but he gives as good as he gets, his years of training in the ring serving him well in real combat. Finally, the men retreat, leaving Roman bloodied but victorious. He and Mia escape, but they know it's not over. The people behind this, the ones who took Mia, who've been terrorizing the town, they're still out there. Back at a safe house, Mia tells Roman everything. The fishing company is a front for a human trafficking ring, one that's been operating for years. The disappearances, the fear, the silence, it all makes sense now. Roman's jaw tightens as he listens, his anger boiling over. "We're going to stop them," he says, his voice steady but fierce. "No one else is going to get hurt." With Mia's evidence and Roman's determination, they take the fight to the traffickers. It's dangerous, it's messy, but they don't stop until the ring is exposed, the leaders arrested, and the victims freed. The town begins to heal, but Roman knows the scars will remain. As he prepares to leave, Mia pulls him aside. "Thank you," she says, tears in her eyes. "I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't come." Roman shakes his head. "You're the brave one, Mia. I just did what anyone would do." But deep down, he knows that's not true. Not everyone would step into the darkness. Not everyone would fight for those who can't fight for themselves. And as he walks away, he realizes something. This is who he is now. Not just a wrestler, not just a champion, but a protector. A man who stands up when others can't. And as long as there are battles to fight, Roman Reigns will be there, ready to step into the ring, no matter how dangerous it gets. Because that's what it means to be the Tribal Chief. That's what it means to be a hero. The fight against the trafficking ring leaves Roman Reigns with a heavy heart but a clearer sense of purpose. He's seen the worst of humanity, but he's also seen its resilience, the way people can come together, fight back, and rebuild. Still, as he returns to his life, he can't shake the feeling that there's more to do. The world is full of shadows, and he's only scratched the surface. Then, one evening, as he's sitting in his living room, his phone buzzes. It's a text from an unknown number. Asterisk, you think you've won? You've only just begun. Watch your back. Asterisk. Roman stares at the screen, his jaw tightening. He doesn't respond, but the message lingers in his mind like a dark cloud. Who sent it? Someone connected to the trafficking ring? Or something bigger? He doesn't have time to dwell on it, though, because the next day, he's pulled into a new crisis, one that hits closer to home than he ever expected. It starts with a call from his cousin, Jay Uso. "Roman, we've got a problem," Jay says, his voice tense. "It's about our family land back in Florida. Someone's trying to take it from us." Roman's blood runs cold. The family land, the place where he spent summers as a kid, where his ancestors are buried, where his roots run deep, is under threat. "What do you mean, take it?" Roman demands. Jay explains that a powerful developer has been pressuring the family to sell, using shady tactics to force them out. When they refused, things turned ugly. Threats, vandalism, and now, a fire that destroyed part of the property. Roman doesn't think twice. He books a flight to Florida, his mind racing. This isn't just about land. It's about legacy. It's about honoring the sacrifices of those who came before him. When he arrives, he's greeted by Jay and the rest of the family, their faces a mix of relief and anger. "They think they can push us around because we're not like them," Jay says, his voice shaking. "But this is our home. We're not going anywhere." Roman nods, his expression grim. They messed with the wrong family. He starts digging, uncovering a web of corruption that stretches from the local government to the developer's office. Bribes, forged documents, even threats against other families who refuse to sell. It's a fight that's been brewing for years, and Roman is determined to end it. The confrontation comes at a town hall meeting, where the developer is trying to push through a rezoning proposal that would force the family off their land. Roman stands up, his presence commanding the room. "You think you can just take what's ours," he says, his voice booming. "You think you can erase our history, our legacy? Not while I'm standing here." The room erupts in cheers, but the developer just smirks. "This isn't over," he says, his voice dripping with arrogance. "And it isn't. The next few weeks are a battle, legal fights, protests, even a break-in at the family's property. But Roman doesn't back down. He uses his platform to shine a light on what's happening, rallying the community and drawing national attention to the case. Slowly but surely, the tide begins to turn. The developer's shady deals are exposed, his allies start to abandon him, and the pressure becomes too much to bear. In the end, the family wins. The land is safe, the developer is forced to back off, and the community comes together to celebrate. But for Roman, it's bittersweet. He's proud of what they've accomplished, but he knows the fight isn't over. There will always be someone trying to take what's not theirs, always someone willing to hurt others for their own gain. As he stands on the family land, looking out at the trees and the graves of his ancestors, Roman feels a deep sense of connection. This is where he comes from. This is who he is. And no matter what happens, he'll never stop fighting for what's right. But as he turns to leave, his phone buzzes again. Another message from the unknown number. Asterisk, you can't save everyone, Roman. But keep trying. It's what makes you interesting. Asterisk, he stares at the screen, his jaw clenched. Whoever's behind this, they're watching. They're waiting. And Roman knows one thing for sure. This is far from over. The cryptic messages gnaw at Roman reins like a splinter he can't remove. Whoever is behind them knows too much. About him, his family, his fights. It's personal now, and Roman can't ignore it. But before he can dig deeper, life throws him another curveball. This time, it's not about land or corruption or even a missing person. It's about a kid. A young boy named Eli, no older than 12, shows up at one of Roman's public appearances. He's small for his age, with wide eyes and a nervous energy. When Roman spots him in the crowd, something about the boy's expression catches his attention. After the event, Roman makes his way over. "Hey, kid," he says, crouching down to Eli's level. "You okay?" Eli hesitates, then shakes his head. "I need your help," he says, his voice barely above a whisper. "My mom. She's in trouble." Roman's stomach drops. He knows that look, that tone. It's the same one he's seen in the faces of people who've lost everything. "Tell me what's going on," he says gently. Eli explains that his mom, a single parent working 2 jobs, had gotten involved with a dangerous crowd. She'd borrowed money from the wrong people, and now they were threatening her. They said if she doesn't pay, they'll hurt her, Eli says, his voice breaking. "I don't know what to do." Roman doesn't either, but he knows one thing. He's not going to let this kid down. He takes Eli under his wing, promising to help. What starts as a simple mission to protect a mother and her son quickly spirals into something much bigger. The people Eli's mom owes money to? They're part of a larger network, a group that preys on the vulnerable, trapping them in cycles of debt and fear. Roman's investigation leads him to a run-down neighborhood on the outskirts of the city. The streets are lined with boarded-up buildings and flickering streetlights, and the air feels heavy with desperation. He meets with Eli's mom, a woman named Carmen, who's clearly terrified but determined to protect her son. "I didn't know who else to turn to," she says, tears streaming down her face. "I just wanted to give him a better life." Roman reassures her, but he knows words aren't enough. He starts digging, uncovering a web of loan sharking, extortion, and violence. The people behind it are ruthless, but Roman is relentless. He uses his connections, his resources, and his sheer willpower to take them down. It's not easy. There are threats, close calls, and moments when he wonders if he's in over his head. But every time he looks at Eli, he knows he can't stop. The final confrontation happens in an abandoned warehouse, where the ringleaders are hiding out. Roman walks in alone, his fists clenched and his heart pounding. "You messed with the wrong family," he says, his voice echoing through the empty space. What follows is a brutal fight, Roman using every skill he's learned in the ring to take down his opponents. It's messy, it's dangerous, but in the end, Roman stands victorious. With the ringleaders arrested and the network dismantled, Carmen and Eli are finally safe. Roman helps them get back on their feet, setting up a fund to cover their expenses and ensure Eli has a chance at a better future. As he watches them hug, tears streaming down their faces, Roman feels a sense of fulfillment he hasn't felt in a long time. This is why he fights. This is what it's all about. But as he walks away, his phone buzzes again. Another message. Asterisk, "You're good at saving people, Roman. But who's going to save you?" Asterisk, he stares at the screen, his jaw tightening. Whoever's behind this, they're not just watching, they're waiting for the right moment to strike. And Roman knows, deep down, that the biggest fight of his life is still to come. For now, though, he focuses on the win, on Eli's smile, on Carmen's gratitude, on the knowledge that he made a difference. Because in the end, that's what matters. Not the threats, not the danger, not the shadows lurking in the corners. It's the people. It's always been about the people. And as long as there are people who need help, Roman Reigns will be there, ready to fight, ready to protect, ready to be the hero they need. Because that's who he is. That's who he's always been.